Garden progress over 4 years. This is what was inherited when the house was first purchased. A piece of scruffy lawn in the centre, narrow flower beds around the edges, paving near the house and a raised area at the far end. The fences were in a poor state, with the low fence on the right not providing any privacy from the neighbours and no support for the shrubs. We decided on a complete new design. The garden measures 4 metres wide by 17 metres long. First, the raised section at the far end was broken up and removed. This required a skip and barrowing concrete, bits of metal and bricks out to the street. Underneath the concrete was a quantity of amazing topsoil, which was sieved to remove stones and other debris. This produced 70 wheelbarrow loads, and it was tipped onto the new curved beds on each side of the garden, which were edged with log roll. Then I started to plant up the beds, climbers for the fences, clematis, spring, summer and winter flowering varieties, ceanothus, phormium, roses, perennials, alliums, hostas. When the area at the back was level, paving was laid to prepare for the new greenhouse. The pavias in front of the house were reused for this, and the lawn was raked up and levelled and covered with membrane to kill the grass, and shingle was spread out over the membrane in a thick layer. Wonderful, no more grass to cut. This immediately made the garden seem much larger. Trellis was installed against the fence on the right for climbers. The first year all was neat and tidy, with plenty of colour supplied by annuals to fill in the gaps, while the other plants grew. The new sieved topsoil was very fertile soil, and the plants grew quickly. We were blessed with a good summer, so all the plants survived. I planted hostas, brugmansias, cannas, ferns and tree lilies in large pots to give height and a mature look to a very new garden. Then the greenhouse arrived. It arrived on late summer of the first year, and it was constructed in one day and finished off the garden nicely. The greenhouse is 10 feet by 10 feet hexagonal cedar building, which fits in with the general look exactly. It's sheltered by the fences and plants on each side, so it remains warm all year round. This is year 2 now, and the garden's beginning to look more mature, but I'm still filling in with cosmos and nicotiana and other summer flowering annuals, mostly grown from seed. Here I am showing what the garden's for. Cheers. Jump to year 3 and much more growth now, nearly the jungle look I was aiming for. Mature bananas, cannas, tree lilies, grasses, geraniums, delphiniums. I just love this jungle look. Some of the plants are brought into the greenhouse for the winter to protect them from the weather, and are planted out in the garden when the last frosts are past in early summer. Never be afraid to plant large plants in a small space. It makes the garden look bigger rather than smaller, because you can't see the boundaries. There are no spaces now between the plants, so no weeds. All this has been grown without the use of chemicals. Only organic fertiliser is used, pelleted poultry manure, fish blood and bone, and liquid seaweed. Now we have a wonderful balance of insects. Beetles and frogs eat the slugs, wasps take caterpillars, birds eat aphids, etc. When this balance is reached, and it only takes a short while, the plants are so much better for it. So, summer 2019 was the summer the garden was open to the public under the National Garden Scheme. It was a very successful day with 160 people through the garden over 2 days. And in July, I presented the garden on Gardener's World for the BBC, so that was great fun. Now the plants growing in the garden are mature, and the garden is a peaceful haven where I just love to be.